go.
So why start in Lisbon?
Lisbon is a beautiful, beautiful city. When you first get off the train and you see that ocean and that architecture and the tiling on all the buildings, it's just one of the most phenomenal places I've ever been. Didn't start actually in Lisbon, but 4 days out in a town called Santarém, and that trek to Porto from Santarém was one of the most unique caminos I've ever seen. It was so beautiful and so different. I cannot recommend it enough.
And how did you manage the long stages? Did you cut them up or did you walk them all?
We didn't cut them up at first. We had 5 days of over 30 kilometres each day, which was quite ambitious. If you have a good level of fitness and that's what you want to do, it is absolutely manageable. We had a heat wave though, and that definitely made us suffer a bit. And at the end of the day, my dad and I, when we trek, we really enjoy our afternoons looking around the local village, exploring the architecture, finding a really nice restaurant, writing in our diaries and all those things. So at the end of the day, we would definitely recommend doing the 30k days if that's what you want. But if you prefer a bit of an easier walk with the afternoons off, then look at cutting it up. I think it makes quite the difference to your experience, but each to their own.
What's the good and what's the
bad? Look, not much bad. I'll be honest, it was a tremendous way. The only bad side we encountered really was a bit of the road walking. It has been talked about quite a lot on the forums, and yeah, there is road walking. Sometimes it can be a little scary because there's not a lot of room between you and the cars, but at the same time the Portuguese drivers were always very considerate, and I think they are a bit used to pilgrims now as this trail gets more popular. So we never had any moments where we were really overly concerned. But for someone who hasn't been on a Camino or has been on the Camino Frances, I can imagine it would be a little bit to adjust to. I think the key thing is, though, be sensible about it. Don't wear an iPod. Make sure you're always listening and looking with your eyes. And if you're not sure, just stop and wait until you are sure to keep going. And hopefully we were walking past a lot of fields with those roads. So down the track, the farmers should allow pilgrims to walk down there. I do not know. If they do, that would be fantastic. But I know that there's a lot of work underway to avoid those roads. So I wouldn't ever say don't do it because of that. It's an absolutely minor part of the walk. The good far outweigh that. Do you have a few hours to talk about all the good stuff? The scenery, the architecture, the culture, the people, the quietness of this walk is so incredible. It's nothing like the Frances where it's very popular and you come across a person all the time. The first few days we barely saw anyone, and that was quite lovely. So if you're looking at the good side of things, it's just Portugal itself shows off her best. We came across so many wonderful people that gave us so much kindness, and that wasn't just the hospitaleros or the restaurant owners. It was people giving us bottles of juice or offering us water or offering us shelter in their shed when it was raining to put on our rain clothes. We were absolutely stunned at how wonderful the Portuguese people were. I recommend it solely for walkers to experience that. It's truly moved us.
Any lessons learned?
It's okay to not walk every step. In the past, my dad and I liked to walk every kilometre of a Camino. With the Portuguese way, we found the long days too long, so we did get a lift one day to cut out 14 kilometres, and I do have to admit we caught the train into Porto because it was raining and we didn't want to walk through industrial factories and roads. So that was us. Every person has their own experience and their own way of doing things, but no major Camino lessons were learned other than the usual, which is enjoy it, make it your own, but no, nothing else.
If there was a pick up and drop off service, would you use it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think it comes in handy because while this way does have incredible support, it isn't as often as on the more popular Caminos. So if you're struggling and you need some help to skip a few kilometres, well, it wouldn't hurt. And I think it could go a long way in attracting some more people who are concerned about those longer distances. But we caught a lift with one of the refuge owners, aren't ashamed to say, so it was much needed.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.